folks, I'm back. This is Gilmer, and this is my Let's Play of To End All Wars. This is episode 6, and not very much happened this past turn, but we'll just go through a few things. Moved Castanel to Bonn, and I actually took it. It must not have been defended at all, and it has no wall, so he immediately was able to capture Bonn, and so I am going to actually move him up to Cologne as fast as possible. It says it will take 18 days, which is more than one turn, so I don't think he's going to get there by next turn, so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do anything about uh, this Air Force right here. I know there are some actual land combat units in the area, but I was hoping maybe we could capture that or destroy it or something like that, but it probably will not happen. Some of the other things that have happened, let's go through the messages just to see if anything really important has happened. Um, no, not really very much there. We did have one battle. It was a naval battle in the South Pacific, and Admiral Lucien Lacaze has beaten Maximilian von Spee, and we didn't get any national morale points out of that. It wasn't a huge battle, and one thing we did get from that, though, is Rosalind E. Wemyss has been congratulated for his action against the enemy, and he is now promotable to a new rank, and that actually is him. And if I look here, I mentioned to you in a previous episode that sometimes when you promote a leader, uh, there will be somebody else who feels like they're more senior, has more seniority, and will be angered. And as you can see here, if I promote Rosalind E. Wemyss, it will anger George A. Callahan, who will feel that he has been passed over. You will pay a cost of 0 national morale points and 99 victory points, and George A. Callahan will lose several seniority points. This is, I'm probably not going to do this because this is naval, and naval is a little bit different than land combat. If it was an actual general, I would probably go ahead and promote him. But since it's just naval, I'm not too worried about it. If you look at this formation, uh, it has 48 command points, and it's only using 3 of them. It doesn't matter if it doesn't. It's not as big a deal as if it was a land unit. So anyway, here we go. Let's see. He gained control of Bonn and region Rhineland from Central Powers. That was Edward de Castelnau. He captured Bonn for me. This is just a lot of messages saying so and so's active in Canada. We look at Canada, see that there is a formation there that I could move out, and actually I probably will move them. Let's go ahead and place them into the fleet, and then take the fleet, and basically what you want to do is just drag it and drag it to where you want it to go. And I'm not really sure exactly the best place to drag Canadian forces, but let's bring them over here just to firm this place up a little bit with some more troops. It'll take 21 days, which is basically 2 turns. Okay, let's go back to the Western Front where most of the action is going on. I'm moving the British Expeditionary Force up to Bonn. That'll take 15 days. I'm moving Castelnau to Cologne to see if I can't take that at some point. A couple of others. I'm moving Demadouis, I think is his name. Yes, Demadouis to Saint Mihiel, because this force is getting very big, 2688, and I want at least about 1,000, maybe 1,000 in power to oppose him right there. So I'm moving him up to reinforce that area. Charles Lamberzac, I don't really have too much for him to do, but let's just move him up as well. Why don't we do that? And one thing that I'll show you that actually, oh, I wanted to show you this. He is not, he does not command an army yet, but he's a 3-star. If I click this button, it says Create HQ. He then becomes an army, and he could command 53 points. Well, he only has 25 because I don't have enough troops to fill out all the armies that I have, but I'm building them. Let's take a look at that. F2 shows production. I'm building, looks like 11 combat forces for France, and then of course on a previous turn I bought the 3 formations for South Africa, one for English Africa. I forget where the name of that place, and I don't really care to go look. But I have 11 formations for France to fill out some of these armies and kind of start gearing up for the offensive on the Western Front. And yeah, that's about it because there's not much that's going on right now. And as I said, this is kind of the gateway to the interior of Germany, bypassing the fortresses. And as you can see, if he was active, he would get there before 18 days, and we might be able to do some damage here. But either way, he's going to get there at some point, and Cologne will be under siege. So other than that, I'm moving my the Grand Fleet back over here. I'm actually going to bring him into port because their cohesion is down. They usually are about 11,000, and they're down to a power of 6,000. And that's just because if you're out and doing maneuvers, your cohesion will eventually start to fall, start to drop. So let's take a look at objectives. Central Power's morale is up to 93. And what that probably means, and if you see the Eastern Entente, I think was at 111, so they probably lost a battle, and the Central Powers probably won a battle over here somewhere. We don't get notifications for that, so fortunately we just kind of have to look and see where these uh, little flags with the black cross are to see where they've actually captured some territory. So they've captured Grodno, they've captured Suwalki, and they captured Bialystok. So it's not going great there, but they are making some progress against the Russians. And about Serbia. Serbia is down here. Looks like they've captured Velika Plana, a couple of others. Belgrade is still under Serbian control. So that they're not making as much progress as they probably would have hoped to be making. And one other thing I wanted to show you, let me get over here on a place in the map so that we can see this better. These little diamonds, gray diamonds, are armies. And right now I have 7 French armies, and then really no armies under Kitchener. He could build out an army himself if he wanted to, since he's a 3-star and has a command total point of 52. So he could build out a full army himself, but he hasn't unlocked yet, so we don't really have any armies yet for them. The British Expeditionary Force is really still just a glorified corps with a couple of pretty good generals and a medical corps, a signal corps, and some Royal Engineers, but they're really basically still just a corps. And if you've noticed, one thing I think I covered in a previous turn is the command penalty. They have 20 command points that they can utilize, but they have 24 elements in this, so they're over their command point limit, and that costs them 17% in battle effectiveness. So eventually I'll want to split them out, but for the moment I'm going to keep them together, and then maybe once I get to Bonn, break them out into 2 different corps, and then that way we'll effectively gain that 17% combat back. So basically, that will mean that the total of the 2 combat formations for the British will total about 660 or 680 or so. Okay, so let's want to I want to process this turn on the video and just let you see what happens. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to proceed to next turn. I up here everything's going okay. One thing I did want to mention is I think in my last turn I mentioned I was going to try to build 2 munitions factories because one would fail. Well, neither one failed. Both of them made it. So they're being built. And I expect even with just 2 factories that ammunition will probably be more than I can use in my battles. That's been my experience so far. So let's go ahead and end this turn. And this doesn't take that long. It especially earlier in the war, it doesn't take that long, but it does eventually start taking a fairly long time, maybe 2 minutes or so. And for some people, that is almost too much for them to handle. It doesn't bother me as much. If your screen goes white like this, it usually just means it's calculating. It doesn't mean anything. Um, I've had it go black while it was calculating. I've had it go white while it was calculating, and it usually comes back once the turn starts executing the actual movements of the forces. So we'll just watch this white screen for now. Here we go. It's about to start. Once it goes black and you can see the cogs turning, it's when it actually is about to start actually executing the actual turn. So here we go. It's back. It's still thinking. The icon is turned into supplies being stacked up. So it's still kind of thinking a little bit, but expect it will. Okay, here we go. And you get messages telling you what has, what formation has arrived where and things like that. Even enemy formations, you'll get messages saying, such and such formation has arrived at Saarbrücken or something like that, and you can see them as they come along. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, not much has happened. This is one thing I wanted to show you. Last turn. This is the Japanese force. I didn't move that there. They were already there. As soon as Japan joins the Western Entente, they're they already are besieging Tsingtao, and it's a strategic city, so it is worth something. And then after that, I will probably come down here and try to take Finschlafen. And once that happens, that's pretty much Japan's complete war effort. Uh, I'll keep I'll keep a fleet out here to patrol the Pacific, but other than that, they're not in this game. They're not allowed to move out of the Pacific theater. I've tried to move them to Africa, and they got as far as actually unloading troops into an area, but then the next turn it said that they had been relocated back to the Pacific theater. So that's one thing to just keep in mind if you think you're going to get those Japanese troops and use them in the Middle East or in other places. It just isn't going to happen. Over here, here's another thing that we can do as well. If I click this, it says enable core command for this leader. So I'm going to click that, and he's able to do that because he is active. Um, he's this general is active, and then I can combine units to him if I want or not. It just depends on what usually I don't combine these types of units with a corps commander It's usually actual land combat units, or but we actually have someone here. We could actually add that to him, and then add add these to his core. So that if I do that, then he shows a combat power, and that's the combat power of his core. And if you look down there, he has 24,000 actual men in this formation. In one little section, but then the camel brigade has 96 men and 96 camels. This artillery unit has 300 men and 36 guns, and then the rest of these are just 200 men, 1600 men, 16 and 1600. I don't know that they actually participate in any battles. The people that are in the supply units, the men, if you can see them, the 1600 men and 640 horses, I think they show down here. I don't know if those guys actually fight in the battle, but they are there. Let's see if we have anything else going on. Yeah, really. Oh, my two of my divisions down here that I placed into training are now ready for combat. So let's see here, see what his command rating is. And see, he's gone over, so I'm going to take one of these back out just because. So now he's at full. He's at full command points. So I'm going to go ahead and just lock him up and keep him there. So his uh, combat value is 266, which is looks like about 36,000 men. It's not bad. We might come over here at some point. As a matter of fact, let's see if we can move over there. It takes 39 days. I'm not going to do that because by the time they get there, they're very tired. So I usually don't move them if it takes them that long. And I lost one morale point just because it's the game's uh, normalizing national morale. They don't want the national morale to get too high without some kind of limiting factor, so that the game doesn't automatically just you get to 200 so fast that you're the game ends really quickly. Let's just take one look at the objective screen. Central Powers morale is at 93 still. Eastern Entente's at 110 still, and I'm at 103. I lost one. Let's see. The Central Powers have lost 362,000 men so far in the war. The Eastern Entente's looks like they're holding their own. They've only lost 189,000, and then, of course, I've only lost 9,000. Really, there's not a lot to do. Let's see if we can't cause some trouble. Castelnau is now active again, so I'm going to put him on offensive posture just to see. And let's see about this guy. He is actually active as well. So what I want to do with him is actually, let's move him there. It takes 15 days. Let's don't move him there. Let's move him here and go by rail. It takes 1 day. And then let's move him to Koblenz and see if we can't cause a little trouble there. Let's see who else we can do anything with. That is about it. And I know there hasn't been a lot of action, and there usually is more action by this point, but believe me, the action will come once the Germans start realizing they're about to lose these cities. They're going to start moving some men over here in some formations very quickly, and they will try to slam my forces and try to stop them very cold. So believe me, the action is coming, and these guys, these groups of formations will probably start moving back a little bit and they'll leave about a formation of about 1,000 in power, and then the rest will probably start moving back here and start attacking into me on the through here and up here, and building a defensive line here along these lines on this side of the Rhine. So anyway, I think I'm going to close this turn here, and really seem to be much going on, but like I said, things will start happening very quickly. Um, once Italy joins the war, they're at 56 alignment to the Entente right now. That will be a major decision, or a major happening when we start getting the Italian troops into the battle. That will be make things very much more interesting, because we'll go on the offensive with them almost immediately, because the Austrian border on the Italian border is it's fortified and there are troops there, but they do not have enough troops to hold back the Italians if the Italians make a concerted effort. Portugal is at 97% alignment, and they will join the Western Entente very quickly, very soon. Arabia is at 62%, and they're getting there when I think when the Ottoman Empire joins, that will probably push Arabia even closer into joining the Western Entente, and then we'll get some historical options to play, like the Lawrence of Arabia card. And what that does is give us a fairly strong force, a fairly strong mounted cavalry type force. They're on camels. The power is about 146, which is, I think, probably about 26,000 men, and that can cause a lot of trouble in the back areas of the Ottoman Empire. So anyway, let's see what the USA is doing. They're moving towards the Entente, but it's going to be a little while before they get there. Let's see, alignment to Entente, no rebel activity in France, no rebel activity in Great Britain. That's good. Russia, no rebel activity. Germany has 10% rebel activity, and Austria does not have any. So anyway, that's it for now. The technology is advancing, but not through anything that we've done. It advances on at its own pace until I think 1915 is when I can start actually investing in technology. So that's coming. That will be something that happens at the beginning of 1915, I believe. So anyway, my name is Gilmer. This was my episode 6 of my Let's Play To End All Wars, which is an EJOD title using the WeGo system. And thank you for watching. And if you like it, click like and leave a comment. I'll see you soon.